Hello everyone, welcome back to MoteMancer. The last episode, I left off saying I was probably going to stop recording, and I did. I played a lot off camera. I think this is a completely different playthrough, actually. I don't remember for sure. I definitely did restart at some point. Yeah, this is a different playthrough. But I bought the full game, and I wanted to keep uploading videos, but just like clarify my goals, intent, and set expectations for both of us, I guess, you and me. Which is basically that, like, I'm not the greatest automation game player in the world. You know, stuff takes me forever, and I don't build these, you know... I spend a lot of time on things that don't matter, and no time on things that do matter, and that's part of what playing is. And I have to accept that. And, you know, if you like watching that, you can watch it. And if you don't, you know, there are many people who have well-edited videos where they've planned things out ahead of time and whatever. But if you want to revel in the spaghetti and the slow progress, then that's me, baby. So I thought I would give you a tour of what I've done in this base. And then we'll move on to what we're gonna do next. I was hoping to go explore a new plane, which at the end of the demo, you're supposed to get access to another plane, but like you can't actually do anything there, and it's like, hey, check it out, there's even more stuff in the full game. But I played this save file on tutorial disabled mode, and the tutorial is what's supposed to give you the access to another plane in the demo, and it just doesn't give it to you if you don't have the tutorial on. So I haven't seen any other planes. But that's alright. It's not that far to get to, like, you know, if I wanted to get to life mastery and water mastery to go, like to get keystones for water and life, or, you know, maybe earth and life, whichever, I don't know which would be easier. I could do that. Like, especially life mastery. Well, okay, it does need, I don't even know what coralite and bismuth are, so there's still some stuff to be done, I guess. Where do I even find this shit? Alright. Anyway, are they in my... They're not quintessence and diamond. Those are for, like, beating the game. I don't know. Those don't exist yet, so I have to unlock the research for those. But anyway, there's still plenty of stuff to do on the plane of life. I think the rational... I don't know. I either want to go for more power production, which is this area here, which is like the solar power area. I'm kind of interested in learning about brinaries first, though. Something that just produces a lot of salt. I don't know exactly what the deal is. So anyway, that's what I'm planning to do next. But let's do a little tour. This is the starting area. And I built, like, you know, some kind of obvious stuff of, okay, here's some earth mining... and this was before I unlocked Rampant Bloom, so these days I would lay this out differently. But I built like a little area here that researched everything up to the Adepts, I think? No. Yeah. Salt Prism... Yeah, I had Salt Prisms coming in, like some elemental life here... elemental... No, this is elemental earth. Elemental water, elemental life coming in. And so I used these altars to research all the basic stuff. And as you can see, this is kind of a mix. Like, some of it looks a little bit ordered, like these rows of grindstones and so on. But then this is just a big old pile of spaghetti with buffer chests everywhere. And this up here was my first water outpost. Oh, it's dark! Now that I'm out of the demo, there's daytime and nighttime. That's never happened before. This is my first experience with less than ideal lighting conditions. But okay, whatever. I'll figure out. Actually, let's build some now. Artifice? Yeah. How bright? What does Nitor do? It makes it brighter. Not much brighter. But okay, that's something that I could try to weave into my builds. Anyway, so this was my first thing powered with a mana cultivator instead of mana flares. And it's just the tiniest little outpost for making elemental water, because you don't need that much to research water. Powered by... Well, actually, I sent in Motes of Life, which I used to power the mana cultivator, and also grind up into ether to bind the motes of water into elemental water. So each element... Yeah, here's the element wheel. Some of them, as they tell you in the tutorial, 3 of them are... I don't remember what the words are. There's like stable ones and unstable ones, but they use different words. And like... this... Earth and water and this other one, which I guess must be... Shadow, are grind themselves up into salt and need to have ether fed to bind them into an element. And the other ones that grind into ether, you need to bind them with salt to make the elemental form. So shipping Motes of Life into a water factory provides both power for the whole factory, tiny little though it is, and also the source of ether for binding. So this was my like introductory water area that I just used to research water stuff basically, but I never actually built anything water-based with it. Like streamways, is that what they're called? Yes. Okay, so I did that, and I've got the motes of earth that were producing salt are also being bound into an elemental binder to go here to make elemental earth, so I can research the earth stuff. How do the motes of life... The elemental life gets here... I haven't been to this area in a while. So I guess here, where I was mining life, I sent a tiny bit of it up this way to be bound into elemental life. Okay. And then some of it here to be ground up into ether to make salt prisms, and some of it up there to power stuff. So the other thing is the power... The second thing I made power for was not this. This whole area was sitting idle for a long time while I designed this monstrosity. It's not as bad as I remember it, actually, now looking at it. This was my first self-powered power plant. Ah, get it? Plant? They're plants? This is the area. I don't know if the full game has randomly generated planes and the demo is the only thing where the plane of life is exactly the same every time. I don't know. But the plane of life is laid out every time the same way every time if you play the demo. So this is the same area that had life and earth here. And I used... This was basically my attempt to make a leaf factory. Leaf is the efficient way to power mana cultivators. It's efficient fuel. Coal instead of wood in Factorio terms, or whatever, something like that. Well, I mean, no. This is whatever comes after coal instead of coal, I guess. That's not uranium. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So grinding up... Leaves require elemental life, so I made some of that here. And they need ether, which also comes from motes of life. So great. Mine a bunch of motes of life and a little bit of earth to turn into salt to bind the motes of life into elemental life. And that's kind of all I was doing here. And then just make some leaves. And now feed those into the mana cultivator so this whole outpost powers itself and exports the excess leaves, plus also elemental life, although it turns out I never actually used that. So that's what's powering this cultivator that powers the whole starter base. I built it and then later revamped it to take mana bloom and mana root power instead of using flares. So that only got me to the kind... I mean... That's enough. That must have gotten me to Water Adept and Life Adept and so on, just making prisms and elemental stuff. But to do the kind of good things here, like Rampant Bloom, you need mana root. roots. To learn about, like... well, there's not that much down here. Like, Earthen Mite is cute, I guess. Gripping extra items. And I wanted to build myself a little mall, because this has a tiny bit, like, it makes slabs. That's basically it. Of all the things that you want a lot of, this makes slabs, but it doesn't make anything else, really. So I pulled this leaf belt, or it's not belt, they're slabs, all the way down here to power this, because in this area, there's, like, water, earth, and life, all not too far away from each other, right? There's a water field there, some life here, and some earth here. So I said, in this area, I'll just build everything I want. So I export motes of water down here, and I started them all in this kind of diagonal because I thought it would be fun to do one that wasn't like just horizontal, and really any of the three axes are fine. And that's true, but it is a little bit awkward to navigate because you have to press two buttons to move diagonally. And this whole thing, I was learning new technologies as I was building it, like getting the reaching grippers and so on. So some of it is messier than the rest. And I was like, you know, this is just a mall. It's just making, like... I don't need a lot of throughput in this. I'll just fill up chests, and then I can come pick stuff up when I'm done, like whenever I run out. So I didn't mind that much. I didn't make much space. But then I ended up saying, you know, it sure would be nice if I could research the stuff that needs, like, you know, reaching grippers and granite and stuff like that. And, you know, streamways. And so I ended up actually turning this into my new research base that does the kind of optional off-to-the-side stuff. And the throughput is abysmal. And I revamped it to try to increase throughput, which is why there's like, oh, there's 3 elemental water binders here. This one isn't even working, I guess? I never got ether into it somehow? Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, this doesn't work. It's going there. Okay, very funny. Well, whatever. And then, like, this is the one that's actually... oh, right, yeah. This was the one I built originally just to feed into here. The Streamweaver. And then I ended up, like, piling on 2 more, which I thought was 4 more, but wasn't. That are going through this mess. It's just a beautiful disaster. I love it down here. But I do love how Rampant Bloom means you don't actually need that many mana roots if you're just willing to put mana blooms in between production buildings. You can do pretty much whatever you want. I did this whole area without access to streamways and only partially with access to reaching grippers. So there's a lot of these like underground belt things where it would have been, I think with streamways, I could have done it more easily. And so it all turns into like a big soup, which is great. Very funny, but not efficient. Yeah, like here's the life research area. No, is this water? This is water. Where's the life research? Oh, I didn't do any down here because I'd already done most of it, and then I just like by hand fed in the leaves that I would need for this or something up north. So I would actually have to extend this area to produce leaves if I wanted to go solar powered. On the other hand, if I want to go water powered, I have to actually do the sand production, which I haven't done yet either. So that's where I'm at right now and what I need to do next. And I kind of thought this was going to be the end of this mall area and that I would just step onto another plane and build something much nicer. But it looks like we're going to be doing some retrofitting. At least I have, like, good tools now, right? So what does it take to make sand? Sand is just elemental water plus ether. The problem is, I don't... well... I do have those things in the same place. Because to make elemental water requires ether, right? But I didn't really... there's not I can't feed, you know, the elemental water kind of stops here, you know? Oh boy. So, I mean, a thing I could do, I suppose, which would make for really exciting and enjoyable footage, he said sarcastically, would be, like, to take this area and just... Where are my pedestals? I don't need to know that. I can click... No, I don't have any built? Okay. Would be to just, like, how's my power looking? There isn't any there. I could, like, build some sand myself, right? What do I need more of? Elemental water, I assume? Yeah. Where is my sand? Here it is. And this should start doing actual research, right? Yeah. And it's not the most automated thing. Ugh, I need 200! Ah! Man, okay. Well... How can we do surgery on this area to try to automate some of it, I wonder? Because I don't want to feed 200 sand in by hand, really. I have elemental water right here. And there's some ether, like, over here and over here. Are water undergrounds the same length as normal undergrounds, I wonder? I don't think I have built any of those. But I have a big pile of them somewhere. It should be in my inventory, right? No, I never picked it up? Okay. Well, I built a water undergrounder here. And this should really tax the bounds of this awful little factory. No, they're the same length. Okay. So it's not going to let me extract ether from, like, up here and bring it down here or something easily. What is... Wait, what is this researching? Oh. Oh, this needs water prisms, not salt prisms. Right, because this is past the Adept area. All of this stuff needs prisms of the appropriate type. Okay. So this is where having, like, a bus is... There's a reason that... Let me just build a bunch of this. That in production... It really does not help much with light at all. It's still very dark. There's been some discussion of this in the Discord, people complaining about how not bright this makes things. And the developer is aware of that and might do something about it, but I think plans do, but I mean, everything takes time. Okay, why do I even care how bright it is, though? It doesn't really matter. Right. So this is why in factory games, like, a main bus is kind of like cheat mode, right? Where you just have lines and lines of anything, of everything. And when you need something, you pull it off the bus, and when you need to move something, you put it back on the bus. And this game is designed... One of the goals of this game is to make it so you can't just say, I'll make a main bus. You know, the ways you have to build... Because it's not very fun. Like, you do it once, and it's like, wow, this is super powerful and easy. And then after that, it's like, wait a minute, like, everything I want to build is just, like, doing the same thing. And so I think I'm trying to embrace the spaghetti in this game and not build a bus. Here is the closest I've come, where I've got, like, salt and ether, and salt prisms and slabs. These are things that are used a lot in a mall. But they're actually, like, for the mall itself, right? They weren't I'm not trying to make a bus that just goes forever. And good thing, too, because there's nothing you can do about these obstructions, I believe. So the question is, how do I get elemental water and salt prisms to the same place? Because actually all this sand I'm building, I mean, I don't even care about shoal sweep. It's just a way to pick up ingredients off of belts. And if I have elemental water plus salt prisms in the same place, then presumably I can also get elemental water and ether in the same place and just auto-craft the sand. Not, why did I say sand? Yes, sand. That's what this is. It's sand. I had sand confused with salt in my head. I was like, wait a minute, why do I want to craft salt? No, different. So, I mean, what other stuff do I need for water production? Water prisms. Oh, this gives you the ability to make mana pools, which are like accumulators. They store power, it looks like. And then the very next thing to do requires you to build a lot of pools and throw them into the grinder, basically. And then this stuff, it looks like all needs pools, and some of it needs a downpour bastion, which I don't need yet. Where even are those? Here. These are for fighting entropy, which won't happen until I leave this plane. So, in all the water stuff that I want to do, I just need I need water prisms, elemental water, and that's kind of it, plus whatever it takes to make a mana pool, I guess. Which I assume takes sand. Actually, does my Streamweaver? No. Streamweaver, where are you? No, so it doesn't tell me what the recipe is for the other stuff I can't build yet. Where will I build it then? Maybe a brinery does that? Or a mana pool? Where, like, right? This gives me a recipe for mana pools, but where would I build a mana pool if not a Streamweaver? Right? Curious. And likewise a brinery. Where am I going to build a brinery? Ah, it does tell me what brineries cost. 3... Oh, no. It's telling me this is the recipe that a brinery... So it'll be a new building I can build, yes. I don't know where I can build it besides building it by hand, but okay. It turns 3 motes of water into 6 sand, so it's twice as good at turning sand... Not sand, salt. At turning water into salt as just a normal grindstone is. Okay, sure. Well, so one thing I could note, I suppose, is that one thing I do actually have coming out of this belt is salt prisms, right? And there's some water right down here. So instead of like connecting this water to the stuff I'm doing, I could just use these salt prisms and attach some water to them. There's even some ether here to let me make elemental water again. That's kind of cool, I guess. Sure. Oh, God, I wish there were a mini-map. Oh, there's life right here as well. Okay. So, given that water and life are the 2 directions I want to go in next... And what I need is like ether and salt, which are right here, and salt prisms, which is right here, and these things. I mean, I'm kind of well set up. I just have to figure out where to put it all. Oh, and by the way, I guess we didn't talk about power consumption of this area. I think if this whole thing were actually running at full tilt, I probably couldn't power it all. But I do have 3... mana cultivators being fed by leaves, and it produces a fair amount. I was able to run a lot of this factory at the same time, and, you know... so it could probably stand some more, and if not, I'll just put another cultivator up there. So, okay, maybe what we can do... I guess I'm gonna have to clear cut this area. There's some spell that, like, lets you clear cut stuff in a radius or something, which I don't have yet. It from the disc... I heard someone say something on the Discord that sounded like it was that, but I'm not 100% sure I understood what I was hearing. So that would be nice, because it is a nuisance to chop down all these motes of whatever. Yeah, and so I think I want to go salt next, just because I like the idea of brineries. But I guess... I mean, I want to do both, right? I guess what I'm really building is... Oh, I need leaves. I need leaves. Oh, what are leaves, though? They're not that complicated, right? They're just... elemental life and... I want to say ether? It might be salt. Ether, yeah. Okay. Which we can, of course, get from the life itself, right? So that's no problem. But I shouldn't need it because I can ship it in from the mall that's already finished. I'm sure I would welcome more prisms than the ones that it's currently making. Would you like... This is one thing that, UI-wise, I feel like Factorio has spoiled me on. If I hold right-click on this and, like, move my mouse off, it, like, stops, and then I lose all my progress if I put the mouse back on and go back again. I think in Factorio, once you start holding down one of these, it, like, won't let you leave unless you let go of the mouse button. And then even if you do, if you like put the mouse back on it quickly, you still have most of the chopping down progress. So you aren't stuck there for hours if you just like take your mouse off a little bit too soon. Okay, so let's... It looks very pretty at night, actually. The elemental, or the motes of water flying around. I like it. I haven't really settled on a good way to lay out collectors. People have some very pretty ones in Discord, but I don't want to copy other people's builds. My, like, basic idea, which is very basic... Oh my god, would you relax? The hex grid does not always agree with me. You know, this is a pattern I have used, and it seems perfectly suitable. Like, this is half a belt, right? If I connect it up and so on. And then you can just do this again, and it's another half a belt. But it's not exactly pretty. I do, though, I don't want to direct feed these into grindstones, because I want to be able to transition... Oh, well, right, I don't even want to grind these up. I just want to turn them into elemental water to attach to the salt prisms. Okay, let's just say half a belt of this is fine, and this layout is fine. But there's got to be something cooler. So I guess if you are totally new to MoteMancer and all you know is from the videos I made in the demo, one thing I didn't have access to at the time was Rampant Bloom, where mana blooms placed adjacent to production structures extend their rootiness into the production structures, so that, for example, putting a root here actually okay, already the mana bloom powers this, but it's also powered this way, so that, like, what would be a better example? I guess the point is that in the way that I've used it most, yeah, let's go look at the examples, is that I don't have to run, like, mana roots all the way from here to here, which were causing big, like, connectivity problems. I can run a root into this production building, which inherits roots from the adjacent mana bloom, so that it actually connects up the power network as if it were itself a root. And then this, of course, inherits rootiness from this mana bloom. I guess, actually, I wasn't ambitious enough here. You could fit another production building in here that would inherit roots from the mana bloom to its southeast. So you can kind of have root, production, root, or root, bloom, production, bloom, and still have everything connected. Okay, that's a note that I will take for myself in the future. Do I have one? Yeah, I have some grippers. Wouldn't hurt to grab some more while I'm here. So this should be more than enough elemental life. Motes of water for my small-scale current purposes is a thing that I've said and been wrong about many times. But, you know, let's just repeat the mistakes of the past. How about that? Oh, but I wanted to see, is there a cool way to set up mana blooms to power this? And I guess the answer is that you don't need a cool way, right? Just like putting a mana bloom there, you're done. That's the cool way, right? It powers everything. And if I put another here, using the north side because I'm going to be routing in the roots from up here. Interesting. So I learned recently with grippers, right? You can rotate them by pressing R. You can flip them by pressing F. And I was like, oh, isn't that nice? And it is nice. But I just now assumed I could do that with belts, and I can't. I have to rotate the belts. Or, I mean, if you're in freeform mode, you can just, you know, drag it and they'll figure it out themselves. But if you want to lay it out with rotation, you have to rotate. You can't flip. All right. So here's a bunch of elemental... No. Motes of water and life. Should I start experimenting with streamways? Let's put those on my hotbar anyway, because streamways are very high capacity, which doesn't matter to me right now. I don't have that much stuff. But they're also very fast, and I don't really care that much about that either. But they have 2 lanes, and I find that exciting, because that's a way to compress the number of belts you need for something, so you don't have to do a mess like this as often, right? Not really sure it's like that worthwhile. So let's grab... Yeah, I don't have the derive... I don't have Streamway Deltas built automatically at my mall here. I figured undergrounds are the things that take up that you're going to want a lot of and that are very expensive. Deltas, I don't mind making by hand. So let's say that's where my ether's coming from. And then I also want... Oh, knock it off. I'm clicking the wrong thing. Can I do this? No, that's too big. I have to do it this way. And then it doesn't fit. What happens if you do that? Nothing good. Okay. I'm splitting it into 3, but then I'm not using this one, and then I'm splitting it into 3 again immediately like a big dummy. Okay, so let's not do it that way. Let's... Well... I can't quite do what I want. Can I? So that goes there, that goes there. That goes here and... Wait. No, this doesn't do anything. Where are the... I actually need this routed a bunch of places, don't I? So I can do this, and then I have this one free, but it's not really free because it has to go over here. Alright, I mean, that'll do, I guess. Oh, but this is connected wrong. There we go. Not that this science will ever operate again, probably. I'm building everything from scratch again. I've researched all the stuff that needs salt prisms. Although I guess there'll be some over here, but that'll be on a whole other plane, so forget it. Okay, so here's my salt prisms and my ether, which are the things that I need to make prisms of life and water. Right? Let's just double check. Salt prism, elemental water. Oh no, I need salt as well. To bind with the life, of course. If I wanted to research earth and water, I could do it with just ether, because those elements both require to be bound with ether. Is that what I want? Could I convince myself I don't want any of this? No. Very productive day today. I told you, that's what the expectation setting at the beginning was for. Salt as well. I mean, it's not a big problem. There's salt right here. I've even already split it off. Annoyingly, I have to cross the streams here, don't I? You want salt, you want ether. No, other way around. You want ether, you want salt. Which is why I have to cross the streams. Not a problem, of course. That just requires one underground to cross them. Okay, so let's... Do I have... I have some elemental binders, surely. Yeah, the number I have is 0. That's about how many I expected. But no problem. I'll just build 10 of them. I assume... Oh, by the way... I've spent so much of this game annoyed that I can't, like, throw away motes that are in my inventory, and I have to go, like, find a chest and make a chest to put them in. There's a garbage can right here that just, like, is never explained that I could see. And I was just like, oh yeah, garbage can, that makes sense. But I didn't think about what it meant. It's for throwing away stuff you don't want. It just looks like it's floating off the edge there, and I don't know what it would be for. But apparently it's for, like, if you don't want motes of earth, you can toss them in there. Okay, what did I just made? Some binders. So how do we, oops, I just made another. I meant to pick one up. I'm always clicking in the wrong window for that stuff. It would be nice to have like 5 of each, maybe? Like, you could do some math on how much... Like, these are making 2 per second, right? In total? I think. Because they're each 4... Yeah, 2 per second. So... And this takes 2 seconds to make 1. So, in principle... 2 per second. 2 seconds to make 1. So I would need 4 binders to use up all of this water into elements. And what do I need after? I mean, I need sand? And sand doesn't... Yeah, okay. And then who knows what mana pools take. But I need sand, which is just like elemental water. It doesn't need motes of water, importantly. And then up here, I wanted leaves, which just take elemental life and also ether. Sand also takes ether, huh? Interesting. So wait, who's using the salt? I'm using it to bind the life. Right. So 4 binders for each element uses up the arbitrary half belt, half slab of water and life that I've decided to mine here. I suspect the bottleneck will actually be the number of salt prisms I'm making. Which I think I have 4 things making that? Is that right? Yeah. So these are coming in... Oh, yeah. This is so woefully insufficient for what I'm planning to do. Oh, dear. So these make... Between them, 1 every 2 seconds. No, 2 every second. Right? And if I'm using 1 in every prism, I can only really make... Oh my god, they take 4 salt prisms? Alright, well, we'll have to ramp up the salt production once I have brinaries, I guess. So every second. Where do these get made, by the way? Streamweavers. So even if I were making 2 elemental water per second, which is what this could do with 4 binders, I still wouldn't be satisfying even 1 Streamweaver. Which means I'm super duper bottlenecked on salt prisms from the earlier build. Well, okay. But I have the tool, I have more mining capacity right here that I can make salt prisms with. And I choose to do that after I've invented brinaries, I guess. But I guess I should build 2 binders. 4 binders for each color. Just to use each element, just to use up the production I have. So what is I haven't really built a good tileable layout for binders. Or is tileability even something to strive for in this game? It seems nice. But aesthetics and compactness are worth something too. So let's design one of these in isolation here. So let's say I have... I mean... I certainly could do it with 2 belts, 2 slabs, 2 lines of slabs. Like, a shifting... it's nice that belt kind of makes, like, this whole thing is one big belt, if you were using Factorio belt terms. Is it one big slab? I mean, maybe. But I feel like belts are better at being, like, ambiguously plural, so you don't have to always specify. So you could certainly do like this, right? And that's nice and tileable with the output coming out somewhere else. I don't know. But it's not... It doesn't tile if you want it to go like here or here, right? You can't just say, like, okay, inputs here, output here. Now I'll build another one. Well, if you put it here, it's now further from the output belt. So that doesn't tile, which seems pretty bad. One thing you could do, which I think is a cool idea, is... Where's my... I picked up the binder when I shouldn't have. To do like this, but use a streamway for the inputs. A merged lane of both, right? So this is the output, let's say. And where are my reaching grippers? I don't have them on my hotbar. Here's one. Like this. So if this lane contains both motes of water and salt prisms, suddenly this is tileable, right? Which is nice. I could just put another one like this. And surround them by mana blooms to power the whole thing. Right? Oh, whoops, of course I would want more streamway here, of course. So this is actually a really easy design that's tileable. And the only real constraint it has is that, well, you have to merge the inputs onto one streamway first, which seems cool to me. I was about to say we could be even cheekier and try to, like, mirror it so that on the other side of this we were making elemental life, but of course they can't share the inputs. They can share salt prisms, but they can't share elemental motes. So I would need a separate line for doing that, which seems fine, I think. The problem is, like, it's so hard to expand things after you build them if you don't have extensibility in mind. Right, what if I decide I want 10 binders instead of 4 for each element, once I'm producing more salt, say? If I just take the outputs from here and start using them immediately, then I've blocked off this area and I'm not able to use it to do more processing. So when you were doing kind of main bus stuff in Factorio, a common, piece of advice was the bus always goes one direction, let's say south, and you never build stuff pointing south. You spoke off to build east. You build east as far as you need to, and then you ship stuff back to the bus this way when you're done. And that way, you can extend it as necessary. So is there some way I can use that idea here without just, like, I'll build a main bus? Right? The fact that there's 6 directions instead of 4 makes everything more kind of confusing. You don't have orthogonal directions that you can just build indefinitely off into, right? And I guess a point is, I still need the elemental water. So merging it onto the same belt streamway as the salt prisms is fine for this one thing that uses them both. Or no, this makes elemental water. I don't still need the motes. At the end of this streamway, I can just stop. I'm not making any of this stuff. So maybe the idea should be to, like, you know, build like this or whatever. This, oh, well... Okay, is it crazy? This is certainly a thing you do in Factorio sometimes. You know, build where the input is coming from one direction. It happens all the time, in fact, on a main bus, where, like, imagine the bus is up here, your inputs are coming this way, your outputs are going this way to be fed back onto the bus. This seems promising, because then if I need to extend this and make more binders in the future, this whole area is free to me. I'm not using it for anything, right? All of the stuff that uses elemental life has sort of continued from where this forked off. Or elemental water or whatever. I don't know. I still don't feel quite clear on what I'm doing at this point. Like, I'm merging in the inputs for this and throwing them away. Is that right? Well, I'm keeping the ether, or the salt prisms. But I'm kind of gaining... I don't know, this feels like I am just kind of building a weird bus in 60-degree angles. Is it 60? Yes. So I would be taking this stuff, forking off the salt prisms over somewhere, and then bringing in elemental life. But I'd still just have a bus, and I don't want to do that. Water prism, so sand. Remind me, sand needs ether. Yeah. And leaves need ether as well. So do I have nothing here that needs salt besides binding the life? I think that's true. Oh, right. And I said these guys were sharing one of their two element inputs. They're not. They're not using salt prisms here. They're using either salt or ether and the corresponding element. The opposed element, I guess. I don't know. I just can't figure out how to lay things out nicely, you know? I have some space down there. Let's just try... I don't know. I want to do something because this is a video, you know? But I'm... yeah, I guess I... Right, I deleted these because I do actually want to start a little bit lower. Make sure there's room for all the stuff that's going to need to happen in here. Also, I routinely hit Q when I mean to hit 1 and vice versa. And so I'm always I always have the wrong thing in my belt. Or in my... Ah! I built this all too far away. Oh my god. I guess there's that earth spell to nudge stuff. I haven't used it yet. So something like that. Where input, yeah, this whole area is covered. So I can just kind of lay these out however I want. Say input here, or I guess no, this is the output one. And this is the input one. And it is actually important that like the streamway be the input. Well, it's important the streamway be the input because we're going to use 2 lanes, but also because earth grippers can hold more stuff. So they can pick up twice as much. They can move items more quickly than salt grippers can. Which, since this is going to be the lane with multiple things in it, that seems advantageous. So let's just say this is how it's going to be. Let's build... I haven't actually merged lanes or made a... I did like one little, just for an experiment to see what it looked like, but I haven't done it for production. So this is like side loading, this game's version of side loading, right? So if I take, let's say this one is water. And then also ether. That should be fine. That should actually merge up. It would be nice to power it just to prove that it works, but we should see it working. I guess I could have used streamways here as well, but they're more expensive than belts. I don't really need the throughput. I guess, oh, you know what I could do though? I could merge them up here so that I don't have to run belts for this down. Right, as long as I leave myself room to split this off before it merges. Is this 2 cursed? I think that works. I guess I'll get power from here. Ah, I ran out. I should have a big old box full of them right up here. That's you? Oh yeah, I love mana roots. So let's just confirm this does what I want. It does. Cool. Now this isn't powered either, but it's clear that if it were powered, it would work, so I don't need to test that. Now, the life wants salt. And I think I can just... I wish I had copy-paste, because I want to just copy this whole thing. Maybe I don't need the mana blooms so much. Maybe I can just use the existing mana blooms. Oh, wouldn't that be cool? If I want it to be parallel... Well... Not quite. Maybe. Maybe this is working, actually. Is this cursed or cool? Okay, I've invented something, I think. But, yeah, I mean, that actually looks kind of nice. The binders for water are kind of conducting the power down here, and the binders for life are just chilling, I guess. So if we say this stuff goes back up... These inputs come down. I mean... We're looking Gucci, right? Yeah, that looks great. There's a little wasted space in here. We could throw some lights in or something. And then I've kind of added elemental life and elemental water to my treasures, the things I have here. Oh boy, I haven't built anything in an hour. That's me in factory games, baby. Here we go. Buckle up. So that's that. I need the salt here, which... This is the only thing I need salt for in this area. Okay, let's see. Let's actually... build the merged streamway first. Let's, I don't know. Do it like that. Grab my salt. There we go. And let's get you guys power. It seems like coming from here is better than here, right? Unclear. Good. Let's try to make sure I have room to keep running down. So this ether should definitely be like coming off a streamway or a delta, right? I want to split this. Oh, if I did that, yeah, that actually works. It's still coming in on only the top lane, I believe. Let's confirm that. Yeah, good. Because we're going to need more ether. But the salt we don't need anymore. So the only thing I need from this area still is salt prisms, which I have here. let's run some power in. Balloons, please. Or no, roots. Water underground, please? Where the heck are those? I should have picked up 100 of them, didn't I? These are underground slabs. I need an... here it is. So this all springs into life, haha, now. And... yes, produces elemental life and elemental water. Exactly what I wanted. Great. Now what? Hang on. These are backwards. So now I want to make the elemental prisms out of these, which is just combining the elemental stuff with the salt prisms, right? Okay. It's feeling very bussy to me. Oh well. Getting you... okay, you were a mistake. Should have been like your friend. There. So now you have a way through here, and you just have to get over there, which... I'm out of belts! I'm out of slabs. They're not belts. Someone complained in my first video that I used too many Factorio comparisons, which I feel like the game is begging for it, right? I don't think the author would be mad that or developer or whatever you want to call it, would be mad that I said, oh, these are basically belts and these are inserters or whatever. It's a familiar frame of reference, and the game is clearly playing... oh. This is in the wrong place, excuse me. It's a familiar frame of reference, and the game is clearly drawing even more inspiration from Factorio than the average factory game, which is just kind of like doing the stuff Factorio did. This one has a bunch of cool, interesting new takes on it, but there's a lot of very clear inspiration. So I hope the dev, if they watch this video, won't mind. Why was I even talking about Factorio again? Not buses, something else. Belts! I said the word belt. Oh, I'm out of undergrounds too. I just went up here, man. Where are they? Here? I don't think I made a chest for these because... like, they're so expensive to make. Maybe I should have. I mean, I'll do it right now. Chests are here. Grippers are there. Great. Because you use a lot of undergrounds in this game. I feel like even more than Factorio, because you have to like route around all the mana roots and stuff. Not just the other ingredients that are on belts. Okay, but anyway, we've managed to route all that stuff. So I guess what I'm building here is kind of a bus. I mean, sue me, I guess. it's apparently the only way I know how to get anything done. But I think, I don't know. I guess what I kind of want here is not really a bus with both of those elements, but like an earth a life area and a water area to build like life crystals and leaves, and to build water crystals and sand, basically. Water prisms, not crystals. Yeah, this takes life and ether. This takes water and ether. And I do have to keep all of those separate. I can't just merge something onto I can't just like have ether and salt crystals on the same belt or something, because I need to specify what I'm building in each streamway or whatever. So, I don't know. Let's have our separate water area, which means a delta for... I want a delta for the prisms anyway, right? And so what if I did like water stuff over here and life stuff down here? The problem is this is not really respecting the directionality of like the bus and stuff. Maybe it's fine. If there are two directions out from the bus, it's... If we imagine the bus is going southwest like this stuff is, then building southeast or building just west, they're all kind of orthogonal to the bus insofar as anything is, as long as you leave enough space. Okay. That seems fine. Why won't you pick that up? Oh, my inventory is full. Okay, well, throw this away. Throw away so many motes of life. It takes a second to throw stuff away, apparently, for some reason. Interesting. I just don't need motes, you know? Alright. So now I can do this and have a life area. Now, do I want to merge the life, elemental life that I have here onto the same streamway as the salt prisms? I think no, right? Because I'm going to want the elemental life again, but I don't want the prisms again. So I could do that if I forked off with a delta some of this life, and then merged it. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. Well, maybe I could do that or something. If I put a delta here, I'm gonna have a bad time because it's gonna merge into this. Let me see. Yeah, that'll work, I guess. So I can sort of... This looks so bad. That's not where that connects up, huh? There we go. So I could do that and still have elemental life going this way, right? This looks extremely cursed. It's going fast and then slow, but okay, whatever. And then I can build some greenhouses, I guess, to make the leaves. Or no. To make the life prisms? Yeah. Greenhouses, okay. Don't think I have any of those on hand. I mean, as I think I said, I don't even have enough element or production to satisfy one greenhouse. So I think that's all I really need to put down here. But I'll make space for that day when I decide I do need more. Oh my god, this thing is so clunky. There we go. Yeah, so this needs so much input to make life prisms. 3 life and 3 salt per second. Which, I mean, that's so many grippers, man. Even with my earth grippers, that I would need like 3 earth grippers for input. Which is crazy. I can't even fit that in the way I built this. Well, I could, I suppose. Ta-da! There we go. The ingredients were too close. Put them further away so I can grab them more easily. I guess that would make sense if you were someone with really long arms. And then the output on this, you just need 1. Normal gripper. Or you need 2, because these only move 1 every 2 seconds? Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, I don't think we're actually going to saturate this. But all it really costs is a little bit of power to make sure that, in principle, if we were saturating this on input, we could handle all the throughput, right? So, what's it going to take to get this bad boy powered up, would you say? I think a mana bloom here is not good enough. Because of how I've laid things out. Oh, it is actually. Because this has roots now. And I can just do that, and they're all connected now. Okay. Interesting. And to get power from here to here should be simple. Just convert a little bit of this to undergrounds, right? Oh, they're buffering up the elemental life first, but I assume they'll start grabbing salt prisms in a second? Yes. Oh my god, look how fast this thing goes. So just to test this, to make sure everything's working okay. Do I have a chest? I have 0 chests. I could make some, but let's just go grab a handful. I know I have a chest machine in here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so now it's... I feel like it should be working full time, but it's actually outpacing the salt prism input. Even though the salt prism line looks thoroughly backed up. Oh yeah, that makes sense, I think. Because we need 6 inputs per second. And these earth grippers can produce 2 items, but it's 2 items per 2 seconds, not per 1 second. So you would actually need 6 earth grippers to saturate 1 greenhouse, which is insane. Okay, whatever. So I have elemental life. No, I have life prisms here. I also have elemental life. And this is an important part of the Earth research tree. Pretty much everything up here requires life prisms. But yeah, I still don't know what the deal is with this stuff. I guess it probably comes from... Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. Coralite and bismuth. Boy, coral sounds like it should come from water merged with life, doesn't it? So it'll be in here somewhere. And earth merged with life, I guess, could make bismuth. I don't really know what bismuth is, but it's plausible. Like in real life, I don't know what bismuth is. So I guess what I want to do next is actually Reef Crafter, just find out what's in here. Which means just like replicating this setup, but for water, and then researching with it. Okay, well, I've finally built a thing today. It looks bigger than I remember. Like on the one hand, it's just like 10 buildings or whatever, but on the other, I spent a lot of time thinking about it and talking about things. And I'm glad it's finally doing something, even if we haven't learned a single bit of new research today. So that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.